Welcome back. Now it's time for Reality Check. Tonight we look at Congresswoman Dina Titus' first ad taking on her opponent, Joe Heck.
I'm Dina Titus, and I approve this ad.
The role of Congress is not to create jobs.
What did he say?
The role of Congress is not to create jobs.
Senator Heck doesn't get it. Heck signed a pledge to protect tax loopholes giant corporations use to ship our jobs overseas. Heck's also against incentives to build solar energy plants in Nevada, sending more jobs to foreign countries.
The role of Congress is not to create jobs.
Senator Heck doesn't get it. He's not on our side.
This is very similar to an attack being used over and over by Harry Reid against Sharon Angle. Angle also said it is not the job of Congress to create jobs. She essentially said it's state government's role. But Titus uses only part of what Heck said in the ad, just as Reid truncates many of Angle's statements, although rarely out of context. Here's the entire take from Heck.
The role of Congress is not to create jobs. It's to set the conditions under which the private sector creates jobs. And you do that through a stable, fair, predictable tax base. You do that by not passing onerous regulations on small, medium, and large businesses. And that's where we need to get back to, is that limited government that sets the conditions for the private sector to thrive.
Now, if Angle had said all of that, she wouldn't be in as much trouble as she is for what she did say. Heck clearly was cognizant of that, and it's no accident the ad freezes the tape before he can expound. So, did Heck sign a pledge to protect tax loopholes giant corporations use to ship our jobs overseas? No, that is totally misleading. The ad refers to a pledge by Americans for Tax Reform that has two parts. The first asks candidates not to pledge to not raise tax rates for individuals or businesses. And the second part asks them to oppose reducing or eliminating deductions and credits unless offset by tax rate reductions. Now, could this affect corporate tax loopholes as the ad sensationalizes? Yes. But that is not, as the ad implies, the purpose of the tax pledge. Now, these pledges do tie the hands of legislators, and critics, including me, say they turn elected officials into robots. But that's not the issue here. A similar approach was used by the Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee in Hawaii. The tax group called it blatantly false, and nonpartisanfactcheck.org agreed. Now, since then, Americans for Tax Reform said it would have been a violation of the pledge in July for any lawmakers to support a bill seeking to remove certain deductions for corporations doing business overseas. They said it would be tantamount to a tax increase. But that is a thin read for the Titus folks, because that issue is not the overall purpose of the tax pledge. So that line in the ad is still thoroughly misleading. So is Heck against solar plant incentives? Not specifically, but he has criticized the stimulus bill, and there are plenty of incentives in there, some of which will bring jobs to Nevada. Still, it's not as if the Republican has declared he's against tax incentives, so that's a bit misleading too. Even though Heck has to live with signing that pledge and for being against the stimulus bill, the spot is on the whole quite disingenuous. So I give the ad a D, and that's Reality Check. On the next face-to-face, illegal immigration in Nevada is on the decline. New study says 2/3 fewer immigrants are crossing the border into the U.S. What's behind the decline, and what does it mean for you? We'll hear from an expert on the topic on the next Face to Face. Thanks for watching, everybody.